this is sort of an answer to a question that was sent to me by one of my students back there. This is in Tagalog. I'm going to read it in Tagalog. I'm just translating it after. So she said, this, a female student. Sir, 20 years old na ako and still waiting for the right man. Gusto ko first boyfriend ko siya ang maghaharap sa akin sa altar. Comment po on this. He. Okay, so in English, she said that she's already 20 years old and she doesn't have a boyfriend yet. She's still waiting for the right man, and she wants that her first boyfriend should be her last boyfriend, and this boyfriend will, bring her to the altar, marry her. What's your comment on this? So this is my very short response to her. I said, I believe that most young people are idealistic in nature. Having lived for so short a time, they believe that everything will happen according to their wishes and plans. I'm not saying they won't, because at times they do. But after all these years, what I realized is that not everything happens according to your plans and desires. The universe carries a plan and we are merely parts of it. Life flows within you and without you. Okay, Beatles yun. The most important thing is to be happy. Understand what is in store for you. Take the example of water. It is the most powerful force on earth, yet it flows and moves as if it does not care whether its desires are fulfilled or not. It pushes itself against an obstacle but does not force itself to it. Instead, it finds a path. In the long run, it always wins. Be like the water. Do not force your will against an event. Flow like the water. Accept the temporary setback and focus your eyes on eternity. Even if you don't marry your first boyfriend, indeed, if you don't ever have a boyfriend, it does not matter. The soul is complete in itself because it is joined to the great source as a drop of water flowing to the great sea. When a person cannot find in this life an alter animal, an alter ego, an alter animal means the other soul, an other self, an alter ego, it may seem sad for a long time, but all things will be clear in the end. When the soul is completed in Him who creates this whole, this want. People yearn for love because they feel the need, the hunger to possess and be possessed by someone, an alter ego for eternity. But life will not make it possible. Always we will fall short of eternity. And this is like the pulley of Herbert, the poet Herbert. Implanted by him, capital H, on every soul in order for the soul to search for him, capital H. However unclear that search is. This is the search of love or to be possessed in love. But our hearts are made for him and it's restless until it rests in him. I think it was Augustine who wrote this in Confessions. For your part, let me say this because I know that the last two paragraphs will not be clear to you until you're 100 years old like me. Don't push it too hard. Keep being positive, hoping for the best. But on the other hand, accept for something lesser than your goals. As soon as you accept this, life will start to unfold in its greater perspective. Suffering and gain will be viewed as temporary things and for the best. You will start to appreciate the half-torn leaf that falls to the ground because it brings forth a beautiful flower. That is not to accept second best or anything. It is merely enlightenment to the realistic things of this world. In the end, be patient. It took the world billions and billions of years to create you and me. Life unfolds by itself. Be part of it. All the best. after listening to that segment again, I just realized that while I edited alter anima to alter ego and replaced that term to the rest of the article, I was referring to alter anima really in the original writing, because I was thinking about soulmate. And though I did not explain it in the writing, I was referring to the term used by Plato in ancient times when he said, two friends, real friends, are like one soul in two bodies. In a way, when you say you're looking for your alter anima, your other soul, it's not really a correct term. What I actually mean was you are looking for another person where your soul is. So I think that's more beautiful to listen to. But whatever it is, sometimes we are so caught up in looking for that soulmate, thinking that, in this vast multiverse of things, there is just one person out there who's going to complete everything that, that is wanting in us. And maybe it is true for some people. But if you want to be realistic, and if you want to live your life, calmly and peacefully, and not really wanting to be, completed, quote unquote, you just live your life normally. And don't wait for another person to complete you. You just live your life normally, and if he or she comes, then it's okay. But it's sometimes even that person whom you thought to be the completing angle, that's why they call it complementary, the completing angle that makes you complete. Sometimes people change, sometimes your priorities change, sometimes their priorities change. And so if you believe so much in that one person that's going to sweep you up your feet, that's going to be the one destined for you, your alter anima, so to speak. It's not even correct, right, the term. If you're so caught up in that, it's not going to be a happy life, especially if you, number one, miss meeting that person, or number two, meet that person, or so you think, and then lose that person, whether in sickness or death, or another person, or change of perspective. It's going to be a sad life if that's going to be your perspective. So I thought, as a young person, I really thought that I can live through life thinking that there is one person out there that's going to complete my life. I used to think that way because as a young person, you're so idealistic about love. But don't. Just live your life normally and be careful out there, because sometimes those ideal ones, they don't show up for a lifetime.